It's all right.
Hey, this is Groovy. I'm here at Breckenridge Brewery. I'm here with Charlie LaGreca,
Yes.
the co-founder and cool director guy of the whole Denver Comic-Con. How are you, sir?
I am good. Groovy.
Woo!
Do you know he has been called Groovy since how old?
Second grade.
Second grade.
Yeah.
What other kid can be called Groovy since second grade?
It's like an award, I think. You know?
Yeah, it is.
So what's going on, man? You're doing the coolest stuff ever with the Denver Comic-Con. You gotta tell me about it.
Geez, now you put me. I didn't even think about this. See, all I thought was I brought a lot of comics to Planet. We got ghost stories, and most importantly, Gnome Goblin. Yes, Evan loves Gnome Goblin. So do we. This was a comic, Gnome Goblin. The whole creative team coming to Denver.
It's actually the Gnome Mobile.
Oh, Gnome Mobile. Oh, I said the wrong. Gnome Mobile. Okay, cut. Gnome Mobile. That was a whole nother thing, Gnome Goblin. All right, sorry. So what's going on? You know, it's really exciting. We, as you heard from Chris and Bruce and everyone else, Monty Moore and so many other people, we're just really trying to make a really cool thing happen here in Denver. Really fun, awesome, pop culture, comic book infused experience. And so we're just trying to do as much as we can on many different creative angles, you know, to just make something cool, make it just really an amazing, special event, you know.
And like the success has been crazy. I mean, did it just like blow your mind last year? What happened?
I don't know if you guys knew, but like we originally, did Chris tell you this? I can't remember. I watched the interview, but did she tell you we were originally just in the small ballroom? Yeah. And then we had all these discussions and arguments about should we move to the big floor? Can we afford it? Because we didn't have any money. I mean, we started with very little money. And so it was a real question of making that gamble, you know, taking your chips and going, okay, I was going to kind of play it safe with the $10, you know, buy-in. Now we're going to go with the $100, you know, table. You know what I mean? Yeah. So, no. Here's the thing is when Frank and I founded this, we knew in our hearts, because we grew up in Colorado, that Denver could really go for a con. We knew the fan culture. We knew all the awesome people out there that are so amazing, that support all the other surrounding amazing, you know, comic and geek kind of different events that we have throughout Denver, would totally get behind a Comic-Con downtown. And I also have been really traveling a lot, going to a ton of cons, you know, myself as a comic cartoonist and performer. So that also kind of inspired me to know, wow, I think Denver, you know, Denver's changed since we were kids. Did you grow up here?
Oh, I've been here like 20 years.
So. Okay, so you basically grew up here. So you know, like 20 years ago, like 30 years ago, Denver was a lot different. Now it's actually very progressive and different. And like the music scene, I mean, look at all the bands that came. Yeah. And look at, you go to any music venue and it's crowded almost any night of the week, right? So, and the art scene in the Santa Fe district. You used to not even be able to go to the Santa Fe district. We didn't even move, you know, go, we're right here in the Santa Fe district now, you know? So yeah, so.
I mean, Red Rocks has shows all winter long now.
I know.
It's an outdoor venue.
The winter, what is that one called? They just did like the Winter Fest or Snowball or something like that, right?
Snowball. Yeah. Like a 3-day techno fest out in the middle of frickin' winter.
Right, yeah. My cousin went to it, and I was like, really? You're going to go to that? And she had a blast. So that being said, the most exciting news is we're moving Comic-Con to January next year outside. No, we're not.
See me up in Evergreen somewhere out there.
Up in Evergreen. Everyone's comics will be like like what do you call that? You know, water damaged and everything.
So much for collectibles.
Yeah, right. So, what do you want to know? What else can I tell you?
Well, I want to know, like, you know, we've talked about the founding and all this other stuff. Tell me about what we can all expect for this year.
Well, we're upping everything. I mean, the response has been so fantastic. We're really just trying our best to deliver a great show to all you guys. That said, you know, Chris, who you talked to, she really kind of, we're co-convention directors, and she handles the all the really great organizational nuances that I am just horrible at, and she's amazing at. And then she also handles all of the celebrities and all that kind of management and all that other management that comes along with that, which is a lot of work. And she's just incredible. And I, on the other hand, my love is these things right here, these things. These were in my car, and they fell out of the door when I got out. And so I told him, I literally just said, okay, well, if they fell out of the door, then I need to bring him in. Man from Uncle. So, Joe Kubert, Tarzan. My love is the comics. So I really, it's my mission, besides the kids, of course. Like, that sounds cheesy, but I mean, really, truly, besides the kids, that is our mission. Our mission, the kids, the community, the art scene of Denver, all the comic artists of Denver, like, all that, like, one big ball. Like, let's make that really special. Like, let's make that, unique to our scene and show people what Denver is about, right? So there's that. That's the cool part. And then the other really cool part for me is the comics. So I love, I have a lot of comic cartoonist friends, and I also just love that aspect of bringing the comic artists. That's my favorite thing about it. I mean, I grew up going to my very first convention here in Colorado. It was like the Rocky Mountain, what was it called? Rocky Mountain Comics and Art Convention or something like that. And that changed my life. I mean, I got to see Mike Kaluta 1 year, and he did a workshop, and it dawned on me as a little kid, oh my God, there's someone who actually gets paid to draw this, right? Like, you don't think about that as a little kid. You just consume it, right? But you don't know, wow, there's actually a guy who edits this, even though their names are in here. It just doesn't occur to you. And then when you see a guy talk about it, and he's like, yeah, and he shows you his pages that he created and everything, all of a sudden it dawns on you, wow, he's making a living, and he's telling me kind of how to do it, and so that changed me, and that whole convention just changed my whole life. And it's just weird and ironic that I went to the Kubert School and went to New York and lived in New York and still go to New York frequently, and come back here and decide I'm going to found Comic-Con with these amazing people and run it, and like, how random is that, like. It's
pretty random.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's a major success.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, little does like Rich Vincent, one of the guys who founded that other con, and I can't remember the other guy's name. He's really amazing. Back in like 1982 or whatever. Little do they know they're affecting people on that level. And wow, wouldn't it be cool if we're affecting people on that level, that they're going and doing something with their lives? I don't know, whatever it is,
Oh, I guarantee it, especially with the comic book classroom and stuff.
Yeah, comic book classroom, and
you guys are affecting a lot of people in a positive way.
Mm-hmm.
Cheers.
Causing people to drink. That, no. Actually, we better strike that part. Yeah, hopefully really affecting change and empowering people to do whatever it is they want to do. It doesn't even have to be comics. It could be movies. It could be, I don't know, a computer technician, whatever. It could be anything,
Sure.
But kind of like just facilitating that imagination. Are we even talking about the con?
I thought so.
Okay. So what do we do? You know what? Here's something exciting I can tell you about. Outside of all the great comic book guests we're bringing, we've doubled the numbers of how many comic guests we're bringing. I think last year we had 35. We didn't quite double it, but I think we have close to 60 comic guests coming this year from the industry, from Marvel, DC, IDW, Dark Horse, Top Shelf, Fantagraphics. I'm just trying to name off as many as I can think of. Disney, I think I mentioned them already. All kinds of things. Just amazing, just huge array of comic talent. The other thing I'm excited about, which we haven't gotten into yet, was gaming. This year, last year it was at the Hyatt. I don't even know if you knew that last year. You went to the show, right? Yeah. Yeah. So you didn't even know that, right? Yeah. So this year we're moving all of the gaming to the convention center, which means you don't even have to leave. And on top of it, your convention ticket, when you buy it, get you into any of the gaming, get you into any of the tournaments. Like, we've really decided we really want to make some cool gaming for people and make it accessible. So rather than having to pay, a $50 weekend ticket and then another $25 entry fee, it's just going to be a matter of register as soon as you can. There might be small fees involved with certain things, like buying a deck or things like that, but there won't be any like tournament fees or anything like that.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
People are going to go crazy over that.
I know, it was kind of crazy, and we're hoping it'll pay off. We're just hoping that all of you guys out there who are gamers will come out and take part, because if you come take part, then we'll do it again. But if it's 20 people register, we'll be like, oh, great. We had to pay all that money and it didn't work.
I'm pretty sure you can get at least a couple more than 20 people.
I hope so. 900,000. That's how many I'm estimating at Denver Comic-Con. 9 times the amount of New York Comic-Con.
I totally agree. We're aiming high this year, folks. Okay, so speaking of comic books.
Yes. Tono and Kono.
Tono and Kono. I own this one as well.
Oh, that's right. You own this cover.
I do.
And he has his outfit, too.
Yeah, I do. I'm going as Tono. Will you go as Kono?
As Kono. But here's the thing. We have to get the funny little hair, the little wigs, the mod wigs. Who knew in the jungle they had such mod wigs?
They're like emo kids.
They're emo kids. They're emo, what would you call it? Yeah, emo jungleites, emo savages. Emo.
There you go.
Yeah, emo savage.
New band name.
Yeah.
Okay, speaking of comic books, I'm supposed to ask you about the $3 word you learned as a child from comic books. What was that word?
Okay, so I told you we're going to have to bounce back and forth because you only read comics.
I don't remember specific words.
Really? Really? It's funny because when Frank and I were, so the whole Comic-Con, Denver Comic-Con and comic book classroom came about literally in my parents' basement. And we really did start reminiscing on words we learned.
Really?
So I was hoping you would tell me a few words. I'll give you one.
Pow.
Yeah, pow. Pow.
Kaboom.
Slam. Snicked.
What character is Snicked from?
Right, exactly. No, so one of the $3 words was nemesis, or cataclysm was another one. Even things like cosmic cube, you know, those were words you never, right?
Yeah.
Like who when you were reading your books in school, you never read cosmic cube, you know, like, or even the word dimension, like, you know, going to a different dimension, or the negative zone, right? Like, you just start thinking of those terms that Stan Lee and all these other people used unabashedly. They didn't care. They weren't talking down to you. They were just giving you these words and being like, you'll figure it out. And so many of these words, I honestly didn't know what they meant, a lot of them, you know?
Right.
But after a while, when you see nemesis a long time, or arch nemesis, you know, then you start realizing, oh, it means his ultimate, you know, enemy. That's what it means, you know, or what's the adamantium, you know?
Yeah.
I know that's not a real word, but like, you know.
I remember the first time I ran into that word, I was like blown away. I like tried to find it in the dictionary and everything else.
Yeah,
I thought it was the coolest thing
See?
ever. Yeah.
That's awesome. And another word I learned was adamant, and then the singer came out, Adamant, and I was confused. And so when I was reading the comics, I remember thinking, are they referring to the singer when they say Adamant? Because they used it in a comic, and then I looked it up and realized that, you know, it's a you know, meaning. So when I really think about it, these words do pop to my head, and I do realize, wow, you know, because they were such a big part of my life, you know.
Right. And also, like, you're in a band, travel all over the place.
All over. We're doing it.
Tell me about that, man.
Do I really?
Yes, please.
It's called H2 Awesome with an exclamation point that is required at the end. And it's a nerd rock band, and, you know, I don't celebrate nerd stuff enough. So we decided to form a nerd rock band a few years ago. Yeah. And we just have a blast. We just write songs about whatever we want, about nerd stuff, anything and everything. And it's a really fun rockin' band with my brother and a few other buddies from New York City. And we're going to be doing a tour of the West Coast in the summer with Kirby Crackle and hopefully a few other groups. And we're going to make our way all the way down the West Coast to hopefully San Diego Comic-Con. And we'll be appearing at Rock Comic-Con in Denver. Yeah, which sold out last year. And we have a really special limited edition pin that we're releasing with the Hard Rock. Did you see that last year? Mm-hmm. So Hard Rock does these really cool special limited edition pins. Okay. And so we're gonna be releasing a limited edition pin. It's Dan Crozier. Hey, Dan. He got a haircut too. You got a haircut for this interview.
No.
No?
No.
So
I've got a really, never mind. Keep going.
Okay, sorry. So they're doing this really cool limited edition pin, and we're doing a puzzle piece pin. You buy one piece of the pin at Denver Comic-Con, and you buy the other piece at the Hard Rock, and then when you put them together, like special powers.
Actual superpowers.
Yes, exactly. One person out of all those will gain superpowers.
Guaranteed.
Guaranteed. But gaming is going to be really cool. Rock Comic-Con is going to be really cool because at Rock Comic-Con we get artists to get up and draw while the bands are playing, and we get artists to paint and just do all kinds of cool stuff. And then we actually auction them off, and sometimes even give some of them away right there and during the show. So people can walk away with really cool original art from some really amazing creators. And so that'll be really a lot of fun, and just other fun stuff, you know, involved with that. And you know, we're trying to create a whole experience just inside the con and even outside the con, you know, just getting all kinds of people involved.
Well, I'm stoked because there's going to be 900,000 people there.
900,000. That is my estimate. It's not shooting too high. Hey, what was your favorite thing about the convention last year?
Just like the community and there was just like, just the whole vibe and the feel, and it was like, you know, it was something new, it was something cool, but people were all together, and it was like, I don't know, it was like just the general vibe, I guess.
Did you have any weird favorite memories or anything strange happen to you or anything?
I think I got a parking ticket.
Really? Damn. Wonder how much the city made off of parking tickets that day.
About $1 billion. How about you? What's your favorite memory from last year?
There was a few. One of my favorites was when we announced, we were standing at the top of the escalator, and Michael Newman, who is our ticketing and registration coordinator, got us all together, and everyone got on the walkies and was like, everyone gather on like the, I don't know, the Esplanade or whatever, and look down on all the fans that are waiting in line. And then we announced like, we're gonna, you know, count to 10, you know, count down from 10 to announce the Comic-Con. You know, it was like 10, 9, 8, and we opened the doors, and you know, just all these people, you know, started running full speed up the escalators. And then we were like, no, don't run, slow down, because we were like, then we just saw this like a reenactment of the Who concert. I don't remember what year that was, where people died. I just heard about it. And so, you know, you're like, no, and everyone slowed down, but then everyone was high-fiving us and just running into the convention center and screaming and yelling, and you could just feel how much people were like waiting for this moment, you know, and just a lot of fun moments, you know, hanging out with Barry Kitson way into the wee hours, you know, watching him draw until 4 in the morning, and fans staying around him in the Hyatt, just him just drinking beers and just drawing and drawing. So many cool, having breakfast with Michael Uslan on Sunday morning, and having him tell me about the very first Comic-Con he went to, which was New York Comic-Con, the very first Comic-Con ever. He went to it. And so he regaled the whole story to me over breakfast, and it was just like, wow. And it was amazing because you heard they had cosplay, they had panels, they had artist signings. Wow. It was kind of like pretty much this, you know, it's changed a little bit, but really all the integral parts in that very first Comic-Con, I think it was like 1964 or something, are still there.
So they built the template, basically.
They did. And it was in New York, and it was just literally, I think it was only 250 people that showed up, and a few of the comic artists. I think Steve Ditko showed up, and I think that was his only con he ever went to. I think that was his last. I think you'd have to look that up. But, you know, so it was neat hearing that story. It was, and just meeting people. I literally had this girl come to me on the con floor. I'm just sitting there, and she taps me on the shoulder, and I turn around, and she goes, I know who you are. And I was like, okay. And she goes, no, I just really want to thank you. This has been the best day of my life. I didn't even know this girl. She must have, I don't know, seen me on Groovey.TV or something. And then she hugged me and just said, thank you so much, and walked away. And like, for me, like, things like that, honestly, were like, dang, you know, or the comic artists telling me, like Dan or other ones saying, hey, I actually got work out of this, or I actually sold a lot, or one guy told us I made my rent this month, you know, because I didn't know what I was going to do, and I made my rent.
Nice.
You know, it's about people. It's about fans. It's about you.
Be there.
Be there. Billy the Kid.
In Lost Space.
He owns this. You own this, right?
Yeah, I have that one, but I don't have mod wheels.
Yeah. Mod Wheels. You will.
I get to take it home.
The entire team, creative team of Mod Wheels, even though they don't list who it is gonna be at Denver Comic Con.
We can guarantee that.
Yes. I was hoping.
All right, man. Well, thank you so much, and I'm totally stoked for this year.
Me too. I hope I didn't drone on too long, but
no, this is awesome. 900,000 people.
900,000 people. Oh, can we say one other thing?
Whatever you want.
Vote on your favorite beer for Breckenridge Brewery. Have you seen some of the names?
They're awesome.
What are some of the names? Let's go over some of the names real quickly.
There is
Kal-El. Did you see that one?
Yes.
Which is cool because it's based on Kal-El, the son of Krypton, which is Superman's name, and its 75th anniversary of Superman. So that was a good
I like Micronomicon.
Ooh. Yeah. Wasn't that, I liked, there was one with Excelsior, but I can't remember what it was. It was like El Excelsior or something like that.
The Incredible Gulp.
The Incredible Gulp. Why isn't that getting more votes? The Incredible Gulp is awesome. So there's a lot of great names. People are, and one person is going to win, and they're going to get a year's supply of beer, and it's going to be him. It's going to be gone in a week. And if anyone's cheating, we're looking into it. If anyone's cheating, no cheating allowed. None. So I'm excited about the beers.
I'm stoked.
Yeah.
You know, it's you can taste it now.
You can?
Yeah.
No, you can't.
Well, we can. They can't.
We're going to go sample right now. Go vote for the beer or add your own name. And I think that's it, right? We'll hope to see you guys there.
Charlie LaGreca, co-founder, director dude, Denver Comic-Con, 900,000 views.
900,000 people. Groovy. Let's get some more. Ooh, Bill Cabbage.
There we go. New Mutants. Yes.
Spider-Woman. Awesome. Thanks, dude.
Actually, I got one of these when I was a kid.
What?
The gliders.
Oh, the gliders. I used to buy these too. They don't make those anymore, though, do they?
No.
Twilight Zone. So we can show you guys all kinds of cool comics. And thank you to whoever gave these up, because a lot of people give these comics up to us.
Yeah.
And we're giving them to the kids and do special things with them. So
Sweet.
sweet.
Bye-bye. Rock on.
See you at the con.
See you there. 900.